A Maryland family trying to get their loved one back. Her deportation is making international news because of this video we're going to show you. It shows her being dragged last week by people who appear to be officials in Ghana. The woman's attorney says she was deported from the U.S. after living in our area for more than 30 years. NBC News has reported about dozens of deportees being sent to Africa from the U.S. since the summer, part of a new third country deportation program. And as Tracy Wilkins and the News 4 I-Team report tonight, the video is raising questions from her family about how deportees are treated in other countries.
Mohammed Aghali's mom is his best friend. The two bought this home together in Bowie, Maryland, and he's now worried she won't return after being deported earlier this month.
I felt defeated, felt like I failed my mom.
You felt like you failed her?
I felt like I failed her just because I'm really, doing anything for my mom.
He says his mom, Rabiatu Kouyaté, came to Maryland 30 years ago fleeing Sierra Leone's civil war. Mohammed was born here in the U.S. and says his grandparents joined them here and became citizens. Kouyaté never became a citizen, but was a nurse with a work permit and was required to check in with ICE every year. But things quickly changed during her July check-in.
They called her to the back, and they said, yeah, Rabiatu, you have an order of removal, so, we're detaining you. I mean, my heart just broke.
Did you think that you would see your mother again when they took her that day?
Yes, I was optimistic, I was hoping I'd be able to, see what we could do about getting her released that day.
But he would not see her face-to-face again. After several days, she was moved to an ICE facility in Louisiana, where she was held for months, according to her attorney.
Honestly, I don't think anyone expected her to be detained just because nothing had changed with her circumstances.
Immigration attorney Hannah Bridges represents Kouyaté and says while she was held in Louisiana this past September, a judge granted an order saying she could not be sent back to Sierra Leone, where she says her client had been tortured. Bridges says the U.S. immediately began exploring other countries to send her to, which she also tried to fight in court with requests for hearings.
Those requests went unacknowledged.
Are you concerned that her civil rights were violated during this process?
Absolutely.
How so?
She should have been given notice and an opportunity to seek protection from removal to a third country. And the government had multiple opportunities to do this.
Bridges says earlier this month, Kouyaté was flown from the U.S. to Ghana, a country she's never been to before.
Hi, Mom.
Mohammed called his mother in Africa while we were with him. She says her wrists and ankles are swollen from being shackled for the 10-hour flight. She said some others had it even worse.
There was another guy on the floor. That guy, they trained him from the head down to the feet. They said, if you don't cooperate with us, that's how we're going to tie you.
Kouyaté told the I-Team she and other deportees were sent to a hotel in Ghana. She says she was there for 6 days before this happened. A bus arrived to take her to Sierra Leone, even though an American judge ordered she could not be sent there. Her attorney says she was ultimately sent there anyway, although she resisted.
That's when they dragged me, so they bumped the back of my head.
The I-Team obtained multiple videos of the dragging that were sent to her family. Kouyaté believes the people in the green uniforms worked for Ghana's government. These are pictures of some of the injuries she says she sustained after the dragging. The video went viral overseas, and several media outlets in West Africa reported that the Sierra Leone High Commission, which is like its embassy in Ghana, said it's aware of the incident and will investigate. We asked the Ministry of the Interior for Ghana about this. They acknowledged our email, but didn't answer our questions. We received no response from Sierra Leone officials.
I consider America my home. It's like I built relationships there.
Kouyaté says she's safe for now in an undisclosed location in Sierra Leone, as her family sits in the home she owns in Bowie, wondering what her future holds and if she will ever come back again.
Do you feel like the U.S. government has failed your mom?
Yes, 100%.
We reached out to Maryland's ICE for comment several days ago. They asked that we share our videos of the dragging, which we did.
They still have not responded to our questions about the case. In September, the U.S. Department of Justice argued in a federal court that it had no power to control how another country treats deportees. It said that Ghana had pledged to the U.S. it wouldn't send the deportees back to their home countries. The United Nations Human Rights Office has called on Ghana to stop deporting people from the U.S. to their home countries if U.S. courts have said it's dangerous for them to return. And with Kuate, she was the primary caregiver for both of her parents, her mom and dad. They thought, the whole family thought, when she got on that plane that was headed to Ghana, that she was going to be released and coming home. So everyone involved in this was confused and shocked and just wondering what can be done at this point.
And at this point, is there hope? How are they feeling now?
They're feeling hopeless. And what her son said there about feeling like the country has let his mother down. During COVID, she's a nurse. She's worked in long-term care facilities and also in homes and worked throughout COVID and did so much for the people of this country. And she said she feels like this is her home. And now she's been taken away from her home. She left Sierra Leone and didn't want to, but had to, for her own safety. So this has been a very difficult situation for all involved, but it gave us an opportunity to see what's happening with these third country deportations and just the conditions that people are being flown in. It is, it's definitely an issue.
Just shocking to see that video and then to hear her voice describe what had happened on those flights. Tracy, thank you so much for shedding light on that story for all of us and for the family here too.
Boy, this is a tough story to listen to. After listening to this story, I have questions. First off, you have a son that's born in the United States, so he's a citizen. You work hard and you bring your parents to the United States that are much older and they're a U.S. citizen. At the same time, you are here on a work permit and you've been living here for over 30 years. And every year you have to see ICE because you're not a citizen. So my only question is, I don't understand. And I understand life happens, but I don't understand, after all these years, you didn't take the time to become a citizen. That's the only question I have. And if she was a citizen, this situation wouldn't have happened. I hate to say it; it sounds harsh, but that's the only thing I can say now. Even her parents are citizens, so the U.S. can't deport her parents. But I digress. Just listen to this story, man. It's heartbreaking. This lady worked hard. She bought a house. She raised her son. Her son's successful. She brought her parents into the country, and they're citizens, but she's not. She's not. It's just on her routine annual checkup with ICE. They decided to keep her and deport her, which I feel is well, she's not a citizen, so you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're not a citizen and they could just deport you. And this is what happened in this situation. I feel sorry for her. I feel bad in this situation for her. But another thing is also to just looking at she got an attorney, and obviously that didn't work. And she got an attorney. She paid. I'm pretty sure she got an attorney. She paid for an attorney, and she still got deported. That's tough to even hear that. And then she worked hard for 30 years. She was a nurse. Man, this is just hard to hear, man. And then you escape the country that you're from because it was in a civil war. You come to the U.S. You work hard for 30 years. You raise your son, who's successful now. You buy a home. You bring your mom in this country and your dad. They become citizens, but you didn't take the opportunity to become a citizen. Whatever the situation is, that's the key factor here. So, but anyhow, I just feel like she shouldn't have got deported. Unfortunately, she did, and this is a clear example that the U.S. is not playing. If you're not a citizen, they just get rid of everybody. whether you have a record or not. This woman didn't even have a record, and they still deported her. Uh, no record. She just worked, took care of her family, and they still deported her. So this is an example. Like, man, they're not playing. They're deporting people. They're getting rid of you, whether you got a record or not. They still deport you. So now, the only thing I have to say is, I think as a family member, if that's my mom and it's just me, I don't know, I'm not making no excuse for anybody, but if I find out my mom is in the process of being deported, even if I didn't know that because they didn't expect her to get deported. But once I find out that they're deporting my mother, I'm taking the next flight to Ghana to make sure that she's good. Just like the other story that I did yesterday with the woman and her Haitian husband. They deported, when she found out when he was getting deported, she jumped on a flight to go meet her husband to make sure that he's good. And I just feel like in her situation, and this is something totally different of what she went through, that she should have had, well, me, if that was my mother getting deported, I'm jumping to a country that she knows nothing of. I'm jumping on a flight to make sure that she's okay and safe. That situation of her getting dragged, that just wouldn't have happened if I was with her over there. And that's the truth, man. I mean, that's one thing I think maybe her family felt that. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason why they couldn't catch a flight. Maybe they didn't have a passport. Maybe that's the situation. But I think if your mom is jumping on a flight and they're shipping her to a country she doesn't know of, you need to jump on a flight to make sure that she's good. And if you don't have a passport, get a passport. So this is a tough situation. This is a story that is, I mean, it's heartbreaking to see this. But this is going to be the new reality. They're not playing. The U.S. is not playing. They are deported people. No questions asked. They just, as soon as they get you, they're deporting you. So if you don't have if you're not a citizen, especially, they don't care if you, and this is a perfect example, they don't even care if you worked here for 30 years, you don't have no record, they still deporting. Tough. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Yay, yay.